I've been playing around with a few MCPs, and this Google Calendar MCP to me is like super useful. And I'm going to walk you through how you can set it up based on this repo from Nathan Spady and Andrew Jefferson. And I'm just going to walk through their instructions. So the first thing I'm going to do is just copy this repo into my local machine. So I'm going to go into cursor, zoom in a little bit, and I'm just going to do git clone and just go into the project directory, calendar. Okay, have a bunch of stuff here, great. And then the next step is to start following the instructions. So create a Google Cloud Console account. You can create one for free. You have to put in a credit card, but you're not going to get charged for anything because you're just using the Google Calendar API. And I think it's like 1 million requests per week or day or something in terms of the quota. And even if you hit it for some reason, they just turn it off, you're not going to get charged. So you do need a credit card, but you create an account and you get a project called My First Project the first time you create a Google Cloud account. So the next thing is to enable the Google Calendar API. I'm just going to open this in a new window. And there should be an enable option. And this now allows you to access your Google Calendar using your OAuth, setting up a client or something using OAuth. The next step is to go to credentials, create credentials, OAuth client ID. So I'm back here on the Google Calendar API, click create the credentials, Google Calendar API, user data. Next, scopes, I think this is optional. So I'm just gonna hit save and continue. Application type is desktop app. Desktop client 1 is fine. Create. And let's see what's next. Add your email address as a test user under the OAuth consent screen. So before I do that, I'm going to download this credential into my local machine. So I have a client secret. I think this is in my downloads folder now. Click done. Okay, so then I think I'm going to do this step, OAuth consent screen. I'm not sure if I need to do this because I remember trying it once and it just kind of worked. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to do anything for now. So I'm just going to close this for now. Okay, now I'm just going to start running some of the install scripts. So npm install, this is gonna do some stuff. And then I think the next one is just npm run build. All right, while that's running, the last step is download your Google OAuth credentials, which we just did from the Google Calendar API screen. And we have to rename it to GCP OAuth keys.json. So the first thing I have to do is put the credentials into the root directory of my project. So right now I'm in users L, whatever. So I remember it's in my downloads. So I'm going to do move the file from users L, so downloads /client secret to this folder. Just make sure it's there. So this giant thing here, now I can rename that to GCP OAuth keys.json. Just make sure it's there. Yep. So now I have that original credential thing from Google Calendar API in my current local folder in my project. And I think that's it. Now I can just do npm start. Actually, why don't I first open the project since I have this now in my local machine. Open up the terminal again. And so I think the main script is this guy right here. Yeah, so what is it, npm start? Yeah, npm start. Now this is going to ask me to OAuth into my L test thing. Allow. And it's done. Okay. So I think I might have skipped a step because I did this already. So your mileage may vary. And the next thing is to put, so you could do this in Claude, but this also works in Cursor. It's the same syntax. So I'm going to go back into my Cursor, go to settings, zoom out a little bit. And under your cursor settings, there's MCP, add new global MCP server. This opens up your MCP.json file, paste this here, and then this is going to be the path to the, I think, the index.ts file. So this is actually a great use case for using the chat or using the agent. What should I put for the path in mcp.json for my Google Calendar MCP? So I think actually I can just do, let me just open up a new terminal here. I think I can just take this whole thing, copy this, put this here, and then, oh God, turn this off, please. How do I turn this off? Okay, whatever. Args. build.index.js. Okay, so it's in build.index.js, which is this guy right here. Awesome, cool. So I'm gonna save this. Now I have my MCP server settings set up. And if it all looks correct, I should be able to see the different tools available for my Google Calendar MCP, list calendars, create event. So that's basically all I need to do. And now I can start doing stuff with my Google Calendar. So I have my Google Calendar here, and I'm gonna start trying to just query it, add some stuff, maybe delete stuff. So let's take a look and see what I can do. Let's open up I think I need to ask the agent. Let's try the chat first. What's in my Google Calendar? Zoom in a little bit. Google Calendar for tomorrow. Yeah, I think I need to use agent. What is in my calendar? I really should learn the keyboard shortcuts. How do you do my last command? Let me go calendar for tomorrow. Yep, so now it's calling the MCP tool. I want to use the list calendars tool, and it's checking my current Google account, which is great. List events, run tool, and let's see what it comes up with. So here's where things get kind of tricky. It's saying March 27th, but tomorrow is March 21st. So I'm going to say, this is some tuning I have to do. What is the date tomorrow? Calling the MCP tool again. Wednesday, March 27th. So it's saying tomorrow is Wednesday, March 27th, 2004. It's March 21st, 2025 tomorrow. Yeah, so now it's working. Friday demos, hang out with Bob. Let's make sure that's right. Friday demos, hang out with Bob. Okay, so create an event on my calendar for getting a haircut at 10:30 a.m. tomorrow for 30 minutes. And hopefully it does it on March 21st. Yep. Should ask for the MCP tool again. Great, create event. Now it's using a different tool. And that's awesome. Let's take a look. March 21st, 2025. Haircut. What do you know? What's really cool is, like, if you try to schedule an event during a time that's already blocked off, let's say schedule add pick up dry cleaning to my calendar at 2 p.m. Yeah, 2 p.m. for 2 hours. what's neat is it actually gives you a really kind of descriptive way of saying like, hey, you already have some events here. Are you sure you want me to overwrite it? Oh, no, I meant tomorrow. See, so it says, note this overlaps with your Friday demos event that's scheduled for 2-3 p.m. Run tool. So it already has the context. But I should point out this new event conflicts with existing schedules. And I kind of like this kind of back and forth in terms of like, it's telling me what's on my calendar and giving me options. And so should I move the dry cleaning, keep it as is, overlap schedule, share other available time slots? I'm just going to say schedule it, number 2. It's going to have the list of events. Oh, that's weird. I thought I was going to create the event by this time. Oh, okay, so it did create it. Let's take a look. And there's pick up dry cleaning. So this is super neat. Getting this set up for personal use is obviously a pain in the butt. And not everyone's probably going to be in Cursor all day. But if you are in Cursor, maybe this is the easiest way to schedule Google Calendar events versus having to like click on the thing and type blah, blah, blah. I really like this ability just to be able to type in natural language, you know, schedule something tomorrow. There's some examples here too. Please provide a bit of availability, looking at both my personal work calendar. So this is super cool to be able to chat with your Google Calendar a little bit. And this is in comparison to this Google App script, which I wrote a while back, a couple of years ago. And my use case here was I'm usually in email a lot. And so I wanted to be able to send an email to myself like this that had the Google Calendar event in the subject line, and then also like some extra metadata, like maybe I wanted to CC some people, add something to the calendar event description. But the problem with this approach is that I'm parsing this subject line to have a specific, it has to have a specific syntax. And so the downside with this is that if you mess this up or if you don't get the commas correct, then it's not going to work correctly. So I'm just putting a bunch of rules in the script. Whereas with this Google Calendar MCP, you can just obviously type in natural language and it just works, right? The upside of using this script is that I think Google Apps Scripts is a little more approachable if you're not a developer per se, or if you want something a little easier to use. And if you want your entry point to be sending yourself an email versus having to send a command to Cursor. So yeah, I guess kind of depends on what tools you're using the most. Maybe there is a use case or some kind of workflow where you can email yourself in natural language that gets pushed into the Google Calendar MCP, and then that schedules it. But then you're not really chatting with anyone on email. So I'm not exactly sure how that would work, but just an idea. So yeah, that's the Google Calendar MCP from Nathan Spady and Andrew Jefferson.